Council meetings are long and boring. Wouldn't it be great if they were short and unboring? This is why I have brought to you the 5-minute meeting. All right. Ashland City Council meeting of October 20th. This guy forgot the opening roll call. 12 years as mayor. Forgot to do the roll call. The city administrator then said, hey, we should discontinue the declaration of emergency. And this guy says, hey, why do we need to do this? And the city guy said, well, it probably helps us get emergency funds, but there's no actual boxes on the form. It requires a declaration of emergency. And then they all discussed all the things. Is this an emergency? Is the coronavirus an emergency? Is an Alameda fire still an emergency or not? Or there's a housing emergency, of course. There's lots of emergencies. So they just decided, well, just to make sure we get some government funds, let's extend the emergency declaration until November 17th. All approved. And then the city administrator's report. Oh, the city administrator said, hey, Oregon Film Trail has put signs downtown to commemorate the movies Wild and the movie Coraline. And the city is accepting applications for low-income energy assistance. And a reminder that the council meeting of November 3rd was canceled because it's election night. And then the city attorney said, hey, Say Their Names art installation at Railroad Park is in the works, so get ready for that whole process. It's going to be a bit of a process. And then this guy goes, hey, is Miss Purcell going to be there? And who's that? Is it the new finance director? Is she working? We have a new one? Did they introduce that person? Did they said she was watching the meeting or somehow? Maybe she's going to speak on November 17th. No more info on that. And then the consent agenda came along and they all approved that. And then there's new business. There's an open space standards amendment. The city planning department proposed amendments to the city building codes, mostly on confusing language about what is an open space. There's a common open space. There's a private open space. There's parks and barbecue areas versus porches and balconies. It's mostly a bunch of little word changes. But they did change a rule that if a new housing development is built within 1/8 of a mile from a park, that park counts as their public space. That's not nothing. It was kind of snuck in there. And then jibberty jabberty, small talk. And then this one goes, hey, let's move. I move we approve both those amendments clarifying the language in the open space planning. All approved. And then adopting a resolution to exempt competitive bids for the new Japanese garden construction. And so the Parks Commissioner talked about how great this garden is going to be great. It's a 2-year project starting this month. And so they're completely shutting down the whole Japanese garden area, and a private owner is paying for almost everything. So, and also, we will not be charging locals for use of this garden, which is red flag alert number 1. When was charging for a new garden even an option? I mean, is there going to be a fence and a ticket booth? Charging for entry to a new Japanese garden might be something to keep your eyes open for. And is there a public hearing on this? Opened and closed. More that can be said for the regular public forum, which was never opened or closed. And then this guy says, he goes, hey, I move, we approve this exclusive contract to the specialty Japanese garden contractor and landscape company Solid Ground, who will get 1/3 of all this money with zero opportunity for any other landscaper in town, an option to bid on this project. Yeah, so suck it, Carol's Colors, I guess. All approved. And then confirmation of Beard Guy as the new permanent public works director. And this guy says, hey, he's a good presenter. And this guy goes, hey, it's good to develop people from within. I think that's a good thing. And this one said, hey, he's the best dude. But I'm voting no because there was no hiring a new public works director process at all by the city, like real cities do, and like this city said they were going to do, but didn't. So that was approved 5-1. And then the recently approved ordinance on the ballot from last spring that created a city manager with more power, it required a lot of little amendments to the city charter. So the city attorney lady brought all the amended charter, and that gives the manager all sorts of new control and powers and stuff. And this one says, she goes, hey, what's a hierarchy from the city manager to the next person if there's an emergency? How's that working out? And this guy goes, hey, a city manager can't just like take a vacation now and just assign their job to a friend. We kind of need a process there. And then this guy goes, well, I move to approve all of the changes you got in this report right here. That was all approved. And then the city attorney said, hey, I'm putting up a PowerPoint presentation of 11 questions that will direct staff to start getting ready for the new council and prepare them for the new power dynamic between the mayor and the city manager in 2012 after the election, and then there was a long technical discussion of whether the mayor or the city manager gets to decide certain things regarding committees or boards or appointments or meeting agendas, and nothing was voted on per se. It was discussed, and honestly, I fell asleep about question 8 and woke up about question 11, and then end of meeting. You're welcome.